Look at this cracking 29 pounder from Bundy's, taken from extremely deep water on adjustable zig rig. It's one of a few I've had recently, including a monster of 46. I'm going to slip this one back and show you the zig tactics in more detail. Right, here we have my adjustable zig rig. I'm going to talk you through the components and why I use each one and what they're good for. Starting from the hook end, we've got the foam hook bait. Why do I use a foam over a pop-up? Because the buoyancy stays the same. You know, I'm quite worried that in undertow situations that it might get dragged under, so I've got a piece of foam, probably about 8mm, like the same size as an 8mm trout pellet. The hook is a size 10 mixer hook, very sharp and very strong, and what I've noticed when using this particular pattern is you tend to get hardly any hook pulls whatsoever. You know, it seems to get bed in really nice and just hold on to whatever you've got on the end. I'm using the barb version. You'll notice just below the knot that's not there is a very small piece of 0.5 or 0.7 silicon. I use that purely to trap the 9 pound end gauge mono to the eye, just so that that gape stays nice and wide open. I've just mentioned it, the 9 pound end gauge, it's got a very small diameter and very, very fine. I think it's 0.22, almost invisible in water, and when you're fishing up in the layers, it's really important that you keep things nice and fine and finesseful so that the fish can't suss out what's going on. So that's that. It's 5 foot long and it's tied grinner style to one of these adjustable zig floats. This is the smallest one in the range. I've changed the swivel on the front of it for a size 8 ring swivel because I'm going to put a little cheeky foam nugget through the end of there. This is the short stem version, and I've replaced the big bead. I've got a little 4mm rubber bead on there, and it's quite important to use quite heavy lead with this setup. You know, it works like a marker float setup, and when you're going to be adjusting the depth, you don't want the lead to move. So I've got 3 ounce on there, and that's the minimum I'd recommend. You know, probably want 3.5, 4, that sort of size. And as I said, you cast it out, you pop it to the surface like so. Once you've got it onto the surface, you can see it. I then pull it so it just dips. With the rod and the rest, just pull it so it just dips out of sight. Once it's out of sight, I know the hook link's 5 foot long. I then reel on it exactly 5 feet. That brings the hook bait to exactly surface level, and then by bringing it down 1 foot at a time, I can variate the depth that I'm fishing at. So there you have it, my adjustable zig rig. Right, we're into another one down at Bundy, second one of the morning. Proof in the pudding, the adjustable zig rigs can nick you a bite even at the coldest times of year. Feels like quite a decent fish. It's gone through my middle line, so I'm going to have to concentrate and hopefully get him in the bag and show him a bit closer up. Looks like a really good fish, real nice colour to it, dark brown. Properly tangled up with the other line. Taking my time, I don't want to get like damage the weak hook link. It's coming up here. I tell you what, this is a really, really good fish. It is in a right mess. It's absolutely mental. The wind has just changed, blowing straight in here. I can't even keep the rod still. It's shaking it out of my hands. Last thing I need for this on the end, I just put it in the net. I'm diving with pivy. Come on, straight in the net! Get in! There we go. Absolutely cracking Bundy's common. Another one on the adjustable zig rig, taken just before the wind changed. It's been absolutely savage playing this in, absolutely horrendous. Over the moon though, clonking colours on it, all its winter glory. 29.15, lovely. After that storm and catching that fish, I've got to get the rods back out. I'm going to put it back out to where I caught from. I'm going to run you through how I set it and how to basically get the rest, and basically just adjust it to get the depth that you want. So first of all, I'll cast it out onto the clip, desired range. It's going to take an absolute age for it to get to the bottom. I've cast that 10 seconds ago and it's still only halfway down. I'll tell you when it touched down. Right, it's just touched down. Apologies about the wind, you know, there's no way we can get around it. It's proper breezy and it's proper cold. I'll tell you, if you were here, my fingers, I can't even feel them. Right, in that depth, even when the lead's hit the bottom, I haven't got a direct line to it because it's hung up because of the water tension. So I'm just gonna take out the slack, try not to move the lead. Right, line's nice and tight to the float now. Just going to let it feed up to the surface. It's about 55 feet out there, so that's the clip. Take the clip off. Right, the float's just worked its way to the surface. I can see it out there. I'm going to flick the bail arm on and stick it into the rest. Right, very gently, keeping your eye on the float. Just tighten up the line and be very, don't do it too quickly because you want to get it right. You can just see it. Let's see it. It's gone. Right, at that point, I know the exact distance of my hook link is from the roller on my reel to the second ring. So I reach down the rod, I grab the line at the second ring, and then oh god, my fingers are so cold I can't even hold the line. Right, I'm going to wind that in. Right, at that point, the hook bait is exactly on the surface. So now I'm going to take it down to the desired depth. Right, talking zig hook baits, I like to use foam because I'm using it so small. I'm really worried about the buoyancy. So if you're using a piece this sort of size, which is probably 8mm in diameter, you've got no worries with the buoyancy. You'll notice that I've got a couple of real maggots on the top there. I've got a match hook inside this bait that just helps to nick those baits on, keep a bit of scent in the water. You know, when the fish approach it, I hope that that goo that's squirting out of them just entices them to make that final mistake. They've homed in on the colour, a little bit of scent at the last second and they grab it. Well, that's the thinking anyway. Attached to a nice size 10 mixer hook, lovely job.